At the Rhode Island State House, flags at half-staff there to also honor longtime Senate leader Dominic Ruggerio. He passed away this morning at the age of 76. And joining us today to talk about his impact on Rhode Island, NBC 10 political analyst Wendy Schiller. Wendy, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, Leanne.
So Wendy, Ruggerio served for over 4 decades in the State House. That's a long career even for politicians. And so what are some of those standout moments when you think back on his career and kind of come to mind at first?
Well, I think Dominic Ruggerio stuck to his principles. He was deeply loyal to core constituencies in Rhode Island, particularly labor unions, people who are working for a living, who wanted to get some tax relief, businesses. He was responsible for working to help lower business taxes in Rhode Island. And, you know, he also was a man who, if he didn't agree with you, on one issue, he could find some common ground on a different issue. And I think that was really fundamental to moving the state forward over time, particularly after the banking crisis, particularly after all of the challenges Rhode Island has faced economically. I mean, that's sort of a true leader, being able to pivot when you need to get things done.
Absolutely. Now, we know that Ruggerio was still the Senate President at the time of his death, so the question, I guess, in the next few days is going to be what now? Who's in charge? What happens there?
Well, in the remaining days of the session, a couple of more months, and we know that May and June in particular, is a very busy time for the Rhode Island legislature, particularly the negotiations between the House and the Senate. So the Senate Democrats are going to have to figure out what they want to do, stick with their, majority leader, or maybe there's a new challenge. We won't know. But there's still a lot of work to be done. There's budget deficits. There's a lot of responsibilities. So I think they're really going to want to make sure to have clear leadership and have sort of a unified vote in the end, I think, over this leadership battle. And there's some things that are really an interesting question now, like the assault weapon ban. Dominic Ruggerio was sort of, very conservative on guns, but did support the red flag law in 2018 with Gina Raimondo. So there's a lot of space to negotiate, and I don't know if the Senate will go a little bit more center or will just keep its course as it was under leader Ruggerio.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done there. And when you look at the landscape that's available now, are there any standout candidates that you see that could replace him possibly?
Well, I think today is about mourning him and about recognizing all that he contributed. I think there'll be a couple of days to wait, and then we'll have a lot of speculation on who the next leader will be.
Yeah, we're definitely in the next few days. It's genuinely about mourning and being ready to respond and see, like I said, how people kind of take this moment and the impact that he's obviously led on the Senate. So, Wendy, I want to thank you again so much for joining us today to provide that insight. Appreciate it.
Nice to be here.